There's so many reasons why people are not pursuing or not living the life that they actually really want. So many people have actually no idea that it's even possible.
How to determine what's success for you, what's happiness for you, what truly makes you happy. So that part of us that is too scared to do something is usually connected to some kind of a trauma. There is a part of me, I call it inner slut.
Now we're talking.
All my life I was about being independent and doing everything by myself. It was annoying for me. It annoyed me so much, and it was coming out of trauma. How to bring yourself back to balance. What is the true desire? How to find that true desire? How to understand what you truly want.
Hi, hello, and welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast. This episode today is going to be a little bit different because we're not exactly focusing on the story of my dear friend Alina, who is the life coach, energy coach, is just the person who helped so many people already to find their path, to understand themselves better and to go through their crisis to some higher parts of their personality, to their higher self. But today we're going to be discussing a topic that I feel is very important at the moment when the world is full of people who feel lost, who feel torn apart, decisions that they can't make, who feel that inside of them there's a part who wants something, together that there's a part who doesn't want it. They feel like there is some sort of inner conflict happening all the time that stops them from being their best self, stops them from pursuing their dreams, their goals, and literally just reaching their highest potential. And as long as we're both here today is so interested in guiding people to their highest potential, and that's pretty much our job to do that, we are going to be discussing how exactly to understand that you have this inner conflict. How does it feel? How does it sound like? How can you define what exactly the problem is? And in the end, we're going to be giving also very practical tips on what to do with it, basically, how to make your life better, because this podcast is all about that. So hope you're interested, and hello and welcome, Alina. I'm very happy to see you here.
Hello, Rita. I'm really happy to be here. And I'm really happy we are discussing this exact topic today, because it is something I've been doing for myself, right? For many years, and doing it for my clients. And I guess, actually to solve a problem or to resolve a conflict, first you need to understand what it's all about. That's why I guess it's a great idea to start with actually diagnostic of what's happening in you, what's the feelings, what are the emotions that you feel, right? Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today.
Absolutely. Because this topic is very interesting for me personally because I've been through the same thing. 4 years from now, 4 years ago, I found myself feeling like I don't really live my life. I found myself like I'm not living, I'm existing, because I was so detached from myself. Which means that even though there was some happy moments happening in my life, even though I was pursuing a career, I was very successful for my age and my social group, I had pretty much everything that was supposed to make me happy, I felt empty. And I couldn't understand, how's it possible at the same time, having everything that society told you supposed to make you happy, having everything that everyone wants around you, and still feel pretty much nothing about it. Still feel like if you would ask me, what do you want? I would really struggle to answer this question, because when I asked myself, what do I want inside? There was a silence inside. Is that the inner conflict that we're going to be talking today? Is that one of the examples how it can go?
I guess so. So in this case, it's more about disconnection from self and disconnection from your own truth. And I guess the right question here is, do you live your life? Do you feel connected to self? Do you know what's true for you? Because happiness is a very tangible thing, right? It's a very tangible feeling, I would say. Today you're happy, tomorrow you're not, for some people. But ideally, happiness is something that you wake up with every single day if you really live in your life, according to your values, according to your truth. So I guess the thing is, for many people, it's hard to really understand what's their truth, right? What's their life supposed to look like, because they were pursuing someone else's dream, someone else's lifestyle for many years. And once they achieved that, they felt nothing because they were not connected to self all this time. They were doing all of this because it's the right thing to do, or because society expects you to do this, or your parents, or whatever, your social circle. And they were just following that. So maybe it was your case 4 years ago. You were just following that. I would not call it traditional path because there are so many different paths right now, but something like looks like success, right? A successful path, a traditional success path. They didn't make you happy. And when we follow like a template that was created for us without conscious awareness of what we are doing, where we're going, of course, in the end, it will not make us happy because it was just a template, was just a framework, but not our framework, right? It was not our path. And I feel like people hit the crisis when they realize that all they thought about success is not actually success for them personally. And I guess today we're going to talk also about how to determine what's success for you, what's happiness for you, what truly makes you happy, because we are all so different. And this is why there are so many different things that exist in this world. And you can do all kinds of things in this world, be whoever you want, only if you know who you want to be, right? So the question is like, who are you truly? What's your essence? What's behind the mask, behind the social roles that you're playing? And what is the true desire? How to find that true desire? How to understand what you truly, truly want? What makes you feel excited? And this is challenging for many people, actually. I was surprised because for me, I always kind of knew what I want. Yeah, I had my periods of like feeling lost, but in my essence, I always felt what I wanted. And I was really surprised when I realized that a lot of people don't even have this inner compass, don't have this inner desires, or they're just too scared to look at them because they might be completely opposite to what they are experiencing right now in this reality.
Yeah, as the person who had absolutely no idea what I want, I can describe how it feels like.
Yeah.
Is this issue of disconnection, it happens for a reason. We disconnect from ourselves when, well, so many reasons, but the major ones that I felt like we think that we know better. We know better than what life offers to us. We want to prove someone something. Like I will build the life that will prove that I'm worthy, that I'm the best, that you all were wrong and I'm worth of success or money or love or whatever. Sometimes it's just a life built out of fear. For example, you were running away from poverty or from abuse or from mistreated childhood, something like that. So you build your life not as you want it to live, but as a protection, like coping mechanism. You build like extra safe space for yourself, just not to experience something that you had before. And all these reasons just end up of living not your life, which is fairly sustainable for quite a while. I mean, we're surrounded by people who obviously live not exactly how they wanted to, but they live a sustainable life. They live something that really fits the social construct. They live something that makes sense, for everyone. And sometimes they know that there is something more than this, but they just choose not to pursue it. Sometimes they even have no idea because they choose not to look there for different reasons. But generally this feeling of disconnection, that's one of the things that create this inner conflict, because when you stand in front of the question, in front of the choice, and you have to make a choice, and you're asking yourself, okay, so what do I want? And you hear nothing. The conflict creates from there, because then you start to wonder. Then you start to ask other people. You start to ask your brain, which is not the best advisor when it comes to what you really want. You start to just copy someone else's strategies, and it doesn't bring you to where you want to be, to what you want. It just, gives you lessons more often. So I love the question that you said that there's so many reasons why people are not pursuing or not living the life that they actually really want. The terrifying part about it that so many people have actually no idea that it's even possible.
Yeah, I guess the right thing to do right now is to describe how does it feel to be connected to self. Because if you've never been or you lost it for a long time, you kind of forget how it feels to be really connected to
Yeah,
self.
you said that you felt connected throughout pretty much your whole life. So how did it feel for you?
So it felt like I'm safe most of my life. Like I never felt like I have to survive. I had periods in my life actually when I had to survive, but at the same time I wasn't dramatizing them, I guess. I don't, I felt like I'm just following my path. Yeah, there are challenges. There are times when, I didn't feel successful as well, but I just knew I'm following my path. And in the end, there will be something that will unfold for me. And so I would say, I think I had periods when I felt lost for sure. So I can compare. For example, during COVID, when it just started, I found myself feeling lost because I wasn't sure what to do next. I had a job that I still kind of liked, but at the same time, I felt that it's not 100% me. Yeah, it helps to satisfy some of my desires of traveling and the lifestyle, but it wasn't 100% me. So I started looking for that parts of me that were not alive, but let's say, they were suppressed. I was like, okay, what do I really want to do? Now I finally created that safety for myself when I can choose. Because I'm not coming from like a wealthy background or something. So all my life, pretty much, I had to kind of push myself to study, to work, just to build that safety for myself. So basically, if you have this period in your life right now when you're creating that financial safety for yourself, it's okay too, right? But you can always take time on the side to really explore what do you really want. What does this maybe current job that is just giving you financial safety? How can you use these resources to build the life that you truly want, right? So it's not a bad thing to have a job that just covers your financial needs, right? It's great. It's just there for a reason for you. It's a part of the process. But I guess important thing is not to be stuck there and still remember what you truly want. It's about remembering. It's just a part of the path.
If you know what you truly want.
Yeah, I think for me it was very easy. I always wanted traveling, right? For me, traveling was about freedom. So I was never like doubting that desire at all. I would spend all my money and resources to travel more, to explore the world. And it wasn't really about just like staying in the fancy hotels and all this luxury travel lifestyle. No, for me, it was more about exploring the cultures, exploring the countries, like seeing different types of, nature, people, how do they think? How do they communicate? Like, what's the difference between my culture and their culture? For me, it was just like a process of exploration to, I guess, expand my mind. So I can use this in my work right now because I have clients from all over the world and it's really helpful. I guess this was my main drive. It still is. And I also always wanted to kind of help people, but I wasn't sure how can I help them. I felt like I have some inner wisdom, I have some experience, but it had to build up. I had to really, feel confident enough to help people. And all my previous life experiences, I guess, helped me to be at this point right now here. But coming back to your question, how does it feel to feel connected? I guess when you wake up in the morning and you don't have anxiety, you don't have fear, you don't have negative thoughts, you just wake up with a clear mind, knowing exactly what you want to do today and why. Sometimes you wake up and you feel like you don't want to do anything, and that's okay too. And you just allow yourself, without any guilt or shame, to do nothing.
So why is anxiety can be a sign, that, for example, if you wake up with anxiety, why it can be the sign that you're like doing something wrong, that you're not pursuing who you really are?
I mean, I guess sometimes anxiety is healthy when there is a real danger for life, right? But it's most of the time not the case. So why is anxiety the sign? Any emotion, any negative feeling or sensation, just giving us a sign that something is off, something is not working in our life, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, if you wake up and feel anxious, even though your life looks good from the outside and there is no real danger, so you have a roof, you have food, you have pretty much everything to live a normal life and not to worry about that, but you still feel anxious for some reason when you wake up. Also, it depends what kind of anxiety you have. Are you anxious about money? Are you anxious about being lonely? Yeah. Are you anxious about something else? So it really depends. Anxiety is a sign of disconnection from self because anxiety lives only in the future. So you always live in the future or in the past. When you're connected to self truly, you live in the present. Exactly.
Yeah. Because
exactly.
I remember like for years and years, I've been waking up from anxiety. Like that was my alarm clock built in. I was just waking up and really feeling like something is wrong, even though everything was supposed to be okay. And I also noticed in my work that, yeah, generally having the feeling of anxiety is just like I'm scared of God knows what. Like I have no idea what I'm even scared of, but just in case I'm being scared. And it's something that generally we're hiding ourselves. It's something that we're choosing not to see. Let's say some part of the reality that you're like, putting in the box somewhere in the basement and you just, okay, I'm going to figure out later. Or this is the part of me or my life that I'm not willing to face. And that's what creates this anxiety of just fear of what's hidden because you don't know how bad it is. So in your head, it's enormous. It's always like even bigger than it is in the reality. So like the first thing first, if you want to get rid of anxiety, well, bring yourself in the present moment. As you said, it doesn't exist in the present moment. I also like the saying that anxiety hates the moving target. So like when you move, the action actually helps with anxiety the best. Like get yourself busy, especially with something that's generally interesting for you, that kept you interested. And the third thing is basically face the fear. Understand what exactly you are scared there. Like what's the thing behind the anxiety? Behind the feeling of anxiety, there's a very, very specific fear that you're afraid of. And once you face it, you will understand that it's actually smaller than you thought.
How do you bring yourself to the present moment?
Different things. What I do, like, it depends if you're like a central person or like logical or not logical, doesn't matter. The fastest way is just to tap your body anywhere and just literally like, I am in my body. Remind yourself that I am in my body. I'm sitting on this chair. I am, participating in podcast in the moment. I'm not cooking the dinner right now, that I was like sitting and thinking what to cook for dinner, or I'm not solving the issue from the past. It's from the past. I am here in this present moment. Just remind yourself with literal physical tapping, the breath as well. Slow down your breath, align it with your heartbeat. It will bring you also to the present moment. And the logical part is just literally explain to yourself that you are not there, but literally here. Do you have any other solutions?
No, I liked that technique with the body, like tapping the body, because through the body is the fastest, I guess.
Yeah, that's the fastest.
I love the breathwork exercises. Like there are a lot of breathwork exercises you can do to bring yourself in the present moment. I mostly do breathwork when I need to really come back to
just
myself.
Breathe consciously. Like, okay, now I'm breathing in, breathing out. And any automatic thing that you've been doing, make it conscious. Like breathing, clipping your eyes. Make conscious that you sit or you move or you stand. Yeah. Like if you're talking to someone, okay, I'm consciously talking, because the not being present means that you turn on the autopilot. Like you're driving a car, a Tesla or something. You put autopilot even without knowing it. So on some point, like, I was on the autopilot. Let me go back to the manual mode. So whatever you've been doing, come back to the manual mode. Like you've been painting, I don't know, typing, whatever. Just like bring your consciousness back. And to bring the consciousness back, okay, with the physical, with the breath work, with just logically explaining yourself, bringing yourself back from where you were traveling to this specific moment in time.
Yeah, I've also noticed that it's easier to live in the present moment when you're connected with nature. So in Bali, it's easier because you can ground yourself, like every day, go to the beach, have a walk, look at the jungle, like a rice field, and just feeling connected to nature. And nature really grounds and really brings you to the present moment. While in big cities, of course, it's more challenging because there are more distractions, I feel, and there are just more people. So it's a bit harder to get off this automatic mode. Yeah, because there is collective unconsciousness, and most of the people, they live in this auto mode. I feel like in Bali, I try to also connect to nature, and at least once a day ground myself, or even walk on the grass outside somewhere, just to feel the sensations in my body. I feel like we are one with nature anyways, right? So it's really good to remind ourselves that we are one. And nature lives in the present moment, right? So there is no other option for nature.
For sure.
And how about, you mentioned that, what was it, anxiety? Get yourself busy. Yeah, you said get yourself busy with something you love. But I also feel like a lot of people get themselves busy to shut down or escape their emotions and feelings. How to differentiate these two things?
Yeah, so there's two sides to it. First of all, we do have a tendency to get anxious when we're overthinking. We do have a tendency to overthink when we have too much free time in our hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. When, for example, you've been running, and then you went in your vacation and you don't have your routine or your work to follow up. So you sit there or you lay at the beach. You were supposed to be relaxed, but in your head, you're like overthinking layers and layers of different problems. And that's where anxiety comes. Because also, like the basic rule of the therapy, of the psychology, when you try to solve the problem of the future by you being you in this moment, like today, is first of all, it's impossible. Second of all, that gives you a lot of anxiety because it just doesn't make sense. So sometimes anxiety comes because we just have way too much time and space for overthinking. And if you don't know how to consciously, slow down your thoughts and to be present in the, in today, in right now, that's what's going to happen. So if that's your case, if you really feel overwhelmed when you have too much free time, you have to get yourself busy. But get yourself busy not with work, not with chores, not with something that you can do on the autopilot, but with something where you have to be present. For example, when you do your hobby that you love, you are present because you're actively enjoying the process. For example, painting, reading, Lego pieces, putting all together kind of thing. You're present because you're actively enjoying or because your hobby requires your active participation. So, for example, when you can do everything on the autopilot or actively, that's your choice. But generally, we have a tendency to be present in something that we love. If, for example, you wait for this 1 hour a day when you have free time to do what you love, you wouldn't do this on the autopilot. You're going to enjoy the most out of it. So get yourself busy, but not with some automatic actions, but with something that you genuinely enjoy. That will switch your focus on what you do specifically in the moment, and anxiety will go away automatically because, again, you put yourself at the present moment. Voila.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about in the present moment, right? Yeah, all the problems exist in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the things is that when we feel disconnected, we do have this tendency of feeling lost and generally, be in a conflict in a sense that we don't really know what to choose or what we want because there is silence inside and we don't hear the answer. But sometimes when we're in front of the conflict, we hear way too many answers. A part of us wants this, a part of us doesn't want it. A part of us wants to be successful, 1 million followers, blogger, create content every day and, travel the world. And a part of us wants just to close ourselves in the house and, play with the cat all day, grow tomatoes and have a very frugal, very small life. So what is it about? Like, how is it possible to have both of these things existing in one body, in one person at the same time?
So I guess, that's a good question. Thank you for that. So usually we have a part of us that is kind of ambitious and wants to create things and do things. And the other part is the one that is scared, but it's scared because it wants to feel safe, like it keeps us safe. So the question is how to really make these two parts agree and be friends, I guess, because both of them have a positive intention in the end, right? The part that is like ambitious and wants to create has an intention of safety as well. like, because for that part, safety is about self-realization, is about expressing yourself and your creativity, about at the same time being financially abundant and abundant in general. And the other part that is like kind of hiding, keeping us safe, wants to shut down and stay at home and not do nothing or do something that is very comfortable. That part is more about keeping us safe in another way, in a very basic way, meaning if we are not exposed, if we are not showing up, if we are not there visible, creating content, for example, right? Then nobody's going to judge us. Nobody's going to hate us. Nobody's going to comment something nasty or something that we don't want to hear. Or the other side of it is like, maybe nobody's going to comment at all. So it means that you created something and it was meaningful to you, but nobody reacted and it feels like rejection, right? So that part of us that is too scared to do something is usually connected to some kind of a trauma that we had, maybe as kids, maybe a trauma of rejection, for example, right? So a lot of people don't express their opinions, whether it's on social media or in real life, because they're too afraid of rejection or being judged. And this goes deep to some trauma, right?
So some parts of us are created out of traumas.
I would say we are one. Anyways, we talk about parts just to make it more easy to understand. There are no parts. We are one. We are whole.
I believe there is parts.
You believe there are parts? I mean, it's easier to just imagine these parts when we work on ourselves. But in the end, the goal is to feel whole, to feel that these parts can become one and make us feel whole. And sometimes they're in conflict, so it feels like we are separated and we are all over the place and there are so many different parts. But at the same time, we are one. So it's like not that straightforward, I feel. Anyway, the goal of the parts work or the parts therapy is to bring us back to wholeness. So we don't feel that we are so many parts and they're all like arguing and one part wants to do one thing, another thing. So it's about like making them all friends, having one goal, one intention, and make all these parts work together towards that intention for you. That's it.
Yeah,
I guess that's
I do the same with the clients, with the parts work, but my intention is not to make it whole. My intention is more like to get to know your dream team, the parts that like the most visible, the biggest leaders, let's say, in decision making throughout all areas of your life, and to get to know this dream team so good that you can literally hire them. Use them as your advisors. Use them as the team that will bring you to where you want to go. So. What are we talking here, basically?
Yeah.
The parts. What is this like schizophrenia kind of vibe? So generally, let's say when you face any kind of conflict, for example, I want to grow my business, but I also sabotage it for some reason, right? And you start to dig deeper with a therapist or by yourself, doesn't even matter. You start to understand that there is a part of me that really wants to grow the business because I'm so excited and I'm so ambitious and interested in what's more is out there in my business because I love the process of like growing and building. It just brings me joy. But also there's another part of me that says, for example, it might be too risky or it might be not safe over there. Maybe I can't even handle it. I don't know. And I'm scared. I'm afraid. So this part tells me maybe let's keep it just the way it is because here I know what's happening. I know this territory. This is my comfort zone. We're still doing well enough. Maybe like let's keep it simple. So this is exactly the parts that we're talking here about. Basically, inside of our head, we do have different voices. Sometimes it's our voices talking. Sometimes it's like, for example, a voice of your mother telling you, I told you so. Or it's voices of your ancestors, of your mentors, of people that you love or appreciate or respect. We do collect those voices and plant them in our head, in a sense, to have those advisors in the moment of need. Some of the parts created out of traumatic experiences. Again, trauma doesn't equal bad.
Yeah.
Trauma is literally the experience that in the moment when you experienced that, you didn't really had capacity to process it fully. So a part of you just decided to capture it as it is, box it in a way, put it in a box, and deal with it a bit later when you will be able to process. But you forgot about it, time passed. So now you have this automatic response or automatic reaction on something. For example, when you were a kid, you were bitten by a dog. So you couldn't process it. You couldn't understand that this is just one dog that bites you. That's not all the dogs are dangerous, but you live throughout life being scared of the dogs to some extent, just because in your head it's still dog equals danger. Until you will consciously look at this problem and do something with it, like rewire this connection in your brain, this pattern, this traumatic experience will control you in a way. So all of these beautiful parts, all of these voices, all of these guys present in our head, I absolutely agree with you. They're not our enemies. I call them frenemies.
Frenemies.
Which means that their intentions are good, but the way they want to pursue it is not always helpful for us. As you said, they want to protect us, but sometimes they want to protect us by slowing us down, by keeping us where we don't want to be, for example. For so many people, there is a voice in your head when you're in abusive relationship, for example, that tells you, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe we should stay because at least we know how it's going to go. Maybe, we're going to leave and something even worse going to happen. So they want good for us, but the way how they want us to do that, it's not always serving us well.
For sure.
So the idea of working with parts is generally getting to know those voices in your head and just understanding in what specific situations or conflicts or decisions, what parts are participating and what do they want. Like you are whole, you are one, but also when you want something, this is not all of you wanting this. This is some specific part or parts want this. So there's other guys who want another thing. There's other guys who doesn't want anything. And part of managing the decision-making or the conflict, part of the job is just to really understand what's going on inside of me from all the perspectives. Like who's voting yes, who's voting no, who wants to pursue and how, who wants to slow down and why. And as you said, find the solution. So the solution might be create a dream team out of the parts that you have, make them collaborate, literally build a dialogue between them, make them collaborate on something and, just negotiate a deal, let's say, with them. So like we find temporary peace, at least. We unite them for some goal that most of the parts agrees on. Like, guys, we're going to go to this goal, but we're going to make it in a way that satisfied majority, like satisfied all of you perfectly. What's other options?
To work with parts. So
Yeah. To find a solution for the conflict through the parts work.
So the way I do it is about basically like bringing them to wholeness. So it feels like energetically that when you have all these parts in you that are in conflict, it feels like your energy is spread around. So it's not that powerful, right? When you're whole, you're powerful. When you're whole, you're doing the thing, you are in the present moment. You don't overthink it. When your energy is all over the place, it feels like you don't have the power. You don't have enough to keep going. You don't have enough to make that bold step to face that fear, right? So it's about really, make them collaborate, basically. I think we're doing pretty much the same thing, just maybe with a different context, right? So maybe let's really name these parts. What can it be? Maybe inner achiever, maybe inner critic, inner perfectionist, inner, who else was there?
Lazy ass.
inner child as well, I guess, right? Your inner child, your inner adult who is like super responsible and does the thing for your inner child. Yes, for the many parts, for some people there are way too many parts, but in general, like I guess the intention of this parts work, is to make them collaborate towards that one thing that you want, but also understand why do you want this thing that you're going towards, right? So maybe some parts really have valid opinion about it. Yeah. Maybe some parts really want to keep you safe. Maybe they slow you down on purpose sometimes. Yeah. Maybe they want to take it a little bit slower than your inner Chio wants, but for a good reason, right? Maybe your inner Chio wants to really go fast and overwork, but another part of you that is like, I don't know, in a lazy ass, wants to make things more chill, which is also good, so you don't burn out, right? So it's good to listen to all of them and to understand what they're all about and to find that compromise, basically. Maybe for some people it's complicated now because they're not realizing all of these parts, right? But so it's very important to work on your awareness, to expand your awareness, to really feel this, let's say, inner voices without going crazy, because they're there anyway. Yeah, all these thoughts, all these negative thoughts that you have is coming from some part of you. Yeah, usually inner critic, right? That wants to kind of bring you down, but not with a bad intention.
Yeah, you can do it even right now. Like maybe most of you saw this video on TikTok. Like when a person listened to this audio in the car while crying and going to work, like, I need to go to work, I need to pay bills, I need to do something.
Feed my cat,
yeah, that's pretty much the thing. Like, think about your work. There's a part of you who kind of likes it, at least a part of it. There's a part of you that hates it, at least a part of it. There's a part of you that's just lazy, doesn't want to work a day in your life. There's an ambitious part of you who's saying, we can build a career out of it. There's a voice of your mother tells you, you have to be successful. There's a voice of your, higher self that says, literally, job doesn't matter. You're here for the greater purpose. And all of these voices somehow, present at the same time, and they literally just drive in a bus. Mm-hmm. And you're the bus. So the good example of it, if you want to watch, there's a cartoon that's called Upside Down about the emotions. So in the cartoon, there's a character, a child, and it shows that when the child makes any kind of decision, what's going on inside of his brain. And there's literally like a big remote controller in a way, and lots of different emotions like anger, joy, disgust, and stuff like that. They're just pressing the buttons. And when they press the button, the reaction happens. That's the same, but this is emotions, and that is the inner part just giving you thoughts, for example, giving you also emotions and things to do or think about it. So once you will start consciously listening to the voices in your head and don't go insane, and you'll start to understand better that any kind of decision making is more complex than you think, and it's more complex for a reason. And it's even good that it's more complex. It gives you more leverage, more options to make a decision. Then we come into the point when the shadow self comes into the picture, the shadow part. What is the shadow part?
So the shadow is a part of you that you suppress, that you don't accept. Basically, everything about your personality, identity that you don't accept. So it can be anger, it can be ambition, it can be victim, it can be anything, literally. Yeah. So if every person is different.
And that's what creates the conflict, basically.
Yeah. So when you don't accept a part of you, you spend a lot of energy to suppress it. And it feels exhausting, obviously. Yeah. You suppress it, you spend a lot of energy on it, you keep it in shadow. You don't look there. Yeah. You look away all the time. You don't express this part, but it wants to be expressed. And at some point you have to express it, but instead of doing it in a very sustainable way, you do it in a very maybe aggressive way or unconscious way. So, for example, if you suppress if you suppress anger for too long, at some point, oh my God, what's my tongue? So if you suppress anger for too long, at some point you will explode, right? So you will not express it in a sustainable way. You will shout at someone or kick someone's ass, right? So this is what we'll do if you suppress anger for too long.
What was your shadow self?
My shadow self, that's a good question. Something that I recently worked on. Let me think. I think there is a part of me, I call it inner slut.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, I think a lot of women will relate. So maybe, I don't know. So all my life I was about like achieving things, being independent and doing everything by myself, right? Because I didn't trust men. And also I couldn't really enjoy things without feeling that I deserved them, you know? So I have to work really hard before I can actually enjoy something. And yeah, it was making me feel good that I'm independent, but at the same time, I wanted to relax a bit, you know, to chill a bit. And I felt there is this inner slut part who just wants to, have fun, be, feeling light. I don't know. My perception of slut is not like a hooker or something. It's more about like a fairy, you know. It's light and it has this nice energy of positive, enjoying, spontaneous, like this kind of vibe, yeah. Not like a hooker vibe, right? So just to clarify. And this part of me was a bit suppressed because how do I know, by the way? How do you know that it's suppressed? Is when you look at people who are doing this, who are being that light, being, I don't know, this spontaneous and this kind of feminine energy all the time, and just everything is flowing to them effortlessly, kind of vibe.
Easy.
It was annoying for me. It annoyed me so much. I was looking at this women, I'm like, fuck, like, what do they do? Like, how do they do this? It's so, like, I was judging them as well. Like, when I hear, like, women would go on vacation, not paying for it, and the man pays for it, for example, I would be like, oh my God, I would never do this, you know. I am an independent woman. I always pay for myself everywhere. I take myself on vacations, all this stuff. And it was coming out of trauma because growing up, I didn't have a male figure in my life. My dad, he was not really nearby. He was there for me sometimes, but most of the time he was away. So I didn't feel that I could trust a man in general. It's like your example with dogs, right? So if one dog bites you, you feel like all the dogs are bad, right? My dad is a great man, by the way, right? Now I reframed it, and it was just my perception when I was growing up. Anyway, like talking about inner slut, right? So I was just judging these women a lot. And when you judge someone too much, ideally you should be neutral. Nothing should really trigger you. If a lot of things are triggering you, you should look at them and really figure out why.
Yeah, it's just mirroring you something that you have within yourself that you're not allowing yourself to do. Like
Exactly.
You want, but you're not allowed to do.
You want it, right? Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can judge people like for a reason, but
just because they're weird.
Yeah, or doing something illegal, right? But in general, if a person who is living his life the way he wants or she wants,
for you,
and
like
it's triggering for you, there is a part of you for sure that wants the same. Just a part of it, at least. Yeah, just to have a taste of it, or like live 10% of your life this way. So I released this. Yeah, I started embodying this, part of me in a slut. And life got so much easier. Yeah, I released that resistance that I have to be independent, because we are actually never independent. We are always dependent on something, on the job, on the clients, on the business profit, on other people, like on so many things.
On the weather.
Yeah, the weather. And I'm in a relationship right now, right? So
do you go for vacations where your man pays for you?
Yeah, I allowed it.
Is your inner slut happy?
I'm just at peace. I'm like, before I felt like I don't deserve this, I felt like, oh my God, it's so expensive. I don't deserve it. Or it's so luxurious. I don't deserve it. Or like this kind of things. Like, now I feel like I fully deserve it. If it's happening to me, if I attracted this kind of relationship, then it means I deserve it. I need to embrace it. I need to accept it, because the more you push it away, the more you block it, right? So it's also not natural to push things away.
Do you feel less independent?
Actually, like I make more money now myself than in the beginning of relationship. So also, like, I think it was coming from a place when I thought if somebody is providing for me, then this person restricts my freedom. which is bullshit. It's a limiting belief.
By working on this shadow part, you just understood that there is no direct connection between your independence and someone else inviting you for a dinner or for a trip or giving you presents or something.
It's a limiting belief. And also the universe works its magic through other people. So when you ask the universe for abundance, for something like that, it can come to you in many different ways, as an income, as a gift from your boyfriend, I don't know, from your family. It can come through so many different channels, opportunity from your friends, from like just random person, you know, in a cafe. You never know. Like so many things, so many good things can happen if you just accept and you learn to receive things. So it was unexpected. Actually, I thought it's not very common, but apparently it's a very common suppressed part in women.
It is very common. I work with mostly successful and pretty independent women. And for them, it is like depending on someone means danger because you're letting go of control in a way. And they generally are very triggered by women who chose an easier way of existence. So, for example, someone else is covering their bills, or they do jobs that doesn't require that much of a intellectual participation. Let's say like they make money
with OnlyFans.
Or even like just making money on your appearance, even without sexual context in it, but generally just because you were born beautiful or you made yourself beautiful. It doesn't really matter. The idea is that they feel like someone else is having this easier way, in any way easier. It doesn't matter how much easier, how exactly. But when they face their shadow self, this part that actually so triggered because that's exactly what you want, a part of you wants, like, I just want things to be easier. And they allow themselves to make it the way, like they just look outside of the box and see that there is so many options how you could do that without going to extremes, obviously, without copying someone else's lifestyle, but just to find this piece of freedom in the reality that you built for yourself. They find a different level of freedom. They find a different level of communication with yourself, of feeling yourself and exploring and expanding. Yeah. And this freedom is actually very connected to growth, because once you deal with those limiting beliefs, everything that you try to suppress releases, and that's supposed to be there. Like the shadow part of you is not the bad part. It's not the bad guy. It's just the part that is harder for you to accept because somehow in your head you think that it's not right. Like, for example, most of my clients are good girls. They need to be a good girl. And whatever doesn't fit in this idea of a good girl, I had the same absolutely, because I had to follow all the rules. My parents had to be proud of me. Like I had to be the A player in the company, the best student in the group and blah, 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 because, well, whatever reasons. And the idea is that whatever doesn't fit this picture of the good person or a good girl being rejected, but generally you start to follow your purpose and be who you actually really need to be when you collect all the pieces of the puzzle. And those pieces that you don't accept, especially because they contain lots of energy, they contain your talents, your specific, very special vision and view on life or some things. Like you will be doing things in your special way. And those shadow parts are exactly what put the spices into this blend. It makes you interesting, makes you unique, makes you special, makes you in the end of the day.
Exactly. Also, when people think about that shadow, they think straight away about the extreme expression of it, right? So if I'm releasing my, in a slut, for example, right? They think straight away about extreme thing of it. Like, like men provide for me. I have like multiple men or something, or like I'm dependent now on them and I don't really work on my career and stuff. But one thing doesn't exclude another. You can just like live 5% of your life as that, slut or that fairy, whatever you want to call it. And the rest of your life, you live through other parts of you. Yeah. So you just show up 5% of the day, feeling free to express that part of you in some way. And it helps other parts to grow as well. It helps you to grow in general. Because if something is suppressed, it blocks you. Yeah. talking about inner child as well. A lot of people suppress inner child, not having genuine fun, being too serious, taking everything way too seriously in life, not playing it as a game. So the moment you release your inner child and make it feel free, allow it to play, allow it to test, to explore.
Life gets easier.
To make mistakes as well, right? Life gets so much easier without putting so much pressure on yourself for being perfect. So being an adult and serious,
It helps to release this argument, this conflict, basically, because the conflict is there because you're still not accepting some parts of yourself who want or doesn't want things for a reason. And they have legit reasons. Thinking about it, I think that I did work on my inner jelly part. It's your kind of same as your inner slut, the part that I didn't want to accept because I used to be a very determined, very hardworking, very disciplined, high achiever. And for me, being a jelly means to allow myself to relax, enjoy, and slow down until I'm almost dying, before I'm like a mess, a fully burnout mess. So for me, it was like run or die kind of situation. Work until you can work. Otherwise, just, there is nothing in between. And it took me a lot of time to understand that this is the part that I suppressed because I saw it as a weakness. I saw it as the vulnerability, and I didn't allow myself to be that. And so many conflicts in my life were appearing out of that state because my jelly part was there to balance things, to slow down before you burn out, just to find this compassion to yourself before you run yourself to the ground. That part was not a weakness. It was all about finding balance in time. Not just stopping where you literally can't move, like physically. That's what was happening to me. And by seeing this part, recognizing this part, admitting, allowing it to exist as it is, and inviting it into my dream team of parts, to my fun house in my head, inviting it and make it become a part of the group, I actually developed a sense of balance and a sense of compassion where now when I'm in front of the decisions should I keep pushing myself forward if I don't have resources or I don't feel like it, or should I be a little bit more compassionate to myself, slow down and know that if I will slow down right now, I'll recollect more energy and I will, appear when I have to appear when I have to appear. It gave me different options. It gave me more options. It literally made my life so much easier and so much more pleasurable. So it had to be there.
I have a question. So you said the word balance, which is a great word. How do you bring these parts to balance? Do you have any indication? How does it feel to be in balance, basically?
How does it feel to be balanced? Well, because I know my team pretty good, I know which parts are the leading parts. So, for example, my high achieving part was developed pretty early. For anyone who was ambitious and, craving for, success, money, or something like this, or status, you had to develop your high achieving part pretty early. So I know that there is so many amazing things that can be done by using this part as a leader. Together with that, there's the consequences, which is generally like being burnout, losing your health, losing relationship, losing yourself in a way. So the balance is for me to know who I am, know what's my priorities, and balance it with something opposite. So I'm not changing myself. I don't believe that people can radically change for no reason. I'm not changing anyone that I'm working with, my partner or my friends or anyone. The balance is the art of accepting yourself for who you are and balancing, like adding something on the other side of the scales to save yourself from the consequences, let's say. To just balance the consequences. Because, that might be a vague answer in this question, but balance is not something that you can achieve once and it will stay with you forever. It's a constant art. It's a constant work. Imagine that you have the scales, like the old school scales like they have in in a house of law, right? So imagine that you have the scales, and there depends on your situation, on your circumstance, on the context of your life. So you understand your life at the moment, you have scales looking up like this. Then, for example, you started a relationship. The priority of relationship grows, becomes more heavy. Everything else leaves the chart, right? Then, for example, you have a child. The priorities changes again. So the art is understanding and just be very conscious and be very honest on the reality of your life, and put on the different side of the scale something that will balance it all the time. For example, if I'm in the relationship, then I will put extra attention on being compassionate to myself, on being loving to myself, on giving myself all this love and appreciation. So I won't, for example, get codependent to what my partner is giving me, to the love that my partner is giving me. That's how basically, no matter how healthy the thing is, if you use it too much, if you overuse it, overdo it, it will become unhealthy for you. The same thing. So just until it's too much, just balance it with something in the controversy, right?
Yeah, I agree, for sure.
What's your vision? What's your secret? Are you in balance?
I think when I'm in balance, then the primary feeling that I have is peace. This is how I know. If I don't feel peaceful or I have some anxiety, that means that I'm not in balance.
And then you start to look for what's out of the balance.
Yeah. I think then I need to switch on my inner observer. So how do you actually see these parts, right? When you're too much into it, like when you're too attached to these parts, you can't really see them and recognize them sometimes. So I guess the hack is to learn to switch on your inner observer, someone who can observe these parts, someone who can really distinguish them, name them, recognize them. So I really like to use this technique. So I switch on my inner observer and he does the work, or she. Yeah. So bringing them back to balance. Yeah, looking like, oh, your inner achiever is way too active right now. Let's chill a bit. Or like your inner victim is dramatizing the situation, catastrophizing the situation. Let's see what is it all about? What is the fear? What are you so afraid of, right? Yeah. So I guess how to bring yourself back to balance is to train yourself to be aware of your emotions and feelings.
Awareness is the key.
Yeah,
always. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Awareness is literally you turning off the autopilot and you're taking the manual.
Yeah,
like
you take the driver's seat.
Yeah, you're waking up inside of your life. There's an amazing book of Vadim Zeland, the Russian author, The Transurfing of Reality. And there is another one, A Transurfing of Yourself. Of self. And literally like this amount of pages, this size of the book is all about wake up inside of your reality. Just understand that for such a big percentage of your life, no matter how smart you are, no matter how intelligent, no matter how much you are asleep, which means that you're acting on autopilot, you're feeling on autopilot, you're making decisions on the autopilot. And if you want to actually use all of your knowledge, to use all of the tools that you have to wake up inside of your reality. You can even anchor this whole thing. For example, for me, it's when I'm starting to drive a scooter, I'm waking up. I'm literally saying inside of my head, like, okay, wake up. Now be very present, like be maximum present. Just, feel how you're driving, feel the wind, see the things around you, double check what you're feeling, what you're going through, what you're saying to yourself. That means waking up inside of your reality. When you wake up, you immediately understand what do you feel, if you're in balance, if you're struggling to make some decisions, if you're in pain or if you're happy and stuff like that. So then you can pinpoint and start to apply all of the knowledge. That internet is full of different techniques and knowledge right now, but no one applies them.
True.
That's the issue.
True.
To apply them, first of all, you have to wake up. This is thing number one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think people don't understand that awareness, expanding the awareness takes time and training It's not one-time thing. Yeah, you can take ayahuasca and feel expanded, but then you face the reality and you feel small again.
Yeah.
You feel asleep again. So the thing is, like, awakening is not a one-time thing. You have to awaken yourself throughout the day, throughout the week, all the time. You have to wake up all the time, because falling asleep is easy. Yeah, anything can put you asleep. But waking up as a conscious requires conscious effort. Yeah, to awaken yourself in this dream called life, you have to take a conscious effort and become the observer of your life, and operate sometimes as an observer. Yeah, someone who is, I imagine it as someone is above my body, like a point that I can fix my gaze on. Somewhere here, it's actually from Vadim Zeland's book, right? It's really helpful. Yeah, so you can imagine that you bring your focus outside of your body right here, and you are literally observing your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Instead of really feeling them fully, you start observing them. Notice where they come from. Notice are they really real, or you just made this all up. And also from this point of observation, you can change them. You can reprogram them, rewire your thoughts. I think this is the most helpful tool, but it takes time and practice. It's not something you can do once and it works. Yeah, it's like meditation. Meditation is a practice that you need to practice every day. Otherwise, you lose this state of awareness and this focus, or breath work. Everything takes practice. It has to be a part of your life, of your routine. I
have a different metaphor that shows so well how different we are. For you, it's the same as awareness, same as meditation. For me, awareness is the same as going to the gym. I mean that awareness...
it's not that different.
You can treat awareness as a muscle. Same with meditation, right? Treat it as a muscle that requires a constant work. Like in the gym, if you want to work on the muscle, you have to first feel the muscle. You have to try lots of different positions and lots of different machines, for example, and exercises to know when specifically you work on which muscle, like precisely on which muscle you work. Same with it. Basically, becoming aware is to know what exact actions turning on your muscle.
Yeah, but meditation is not a metaphor. It's a tool to expand on. So basically, gym is to become aware of your body.
Yeah.
And I would say meditation is to become aware of your mind. That would be it. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't a metaphor. It was more like a tool, but I got your point.
And in connection, the balanced life is happening.
Yeah. And body is important, by the way. You're working with your body is also part of building up the awareness, because we are not separate from the body. So going to the gym or any physical practice is a part of, expanding awareness, because your body is not separate from you. Yeah, you have to be aware of your body because it's your temple, kind of. It's a temple for your soul. So if you don't take care of your body, actually Zeland also talks about it a lot in one of the books, that if you don't take care of your body, your mental is also not good. Yeah, your mind is also going somewhere else, not the direction you wanted. It's
in a very smart book, Conversations with God. One of my favorites at the moment is there's a trio, the body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah,
and you have to work all of them, and you have to connect and balance all of them to live a happy life.
I agree with you.
Balanced, conscious, happy, fulfilled life. Our time is up. If there is one thought that you want to share in the end, one phrase, maybe something that inspires you or brings you to the balance, something that maybe some people need to hear today, what would it be?
I guess awareness is the key. Yeah. That's the conclusion of today's podcast. Awareness is the key. Become aware of your thoughts, of your emotions, become aware of yourself. Awaken.
And it will help you to achieve everything that you want.
Yeah, or maybe not to achieve, maybe.
Or maybe understand
just to enjoy your life. Yeah.
Just to live for the purpose of living.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Alina. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your experience and your inner slut journey. I enjoyed it so much. And thank you also for being with us today, for listening. I hope that you heard something that you had to hear today. Some of these phrases were specifically created for you. And I'll be seeing you in the next episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast with a new interesting guest, with the new interesting thoughts, with being fully aware and fully present, creating from heart to heart to you. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.
Thank you. Спасибо.
Aware
Блин, так
sister.
быстро прошло вообще.